Hello, welcome back. I'm telling you right now, this is a video you're not going to want to skip. There's a lot of good information in this video here. It's probably going to be good information on things that you should do better than me. Do your research. Anyway, no intro, just going to jump right into it. This video is going to be a hard one to make for me. I screwed up. I messed up bad, and I'm going to be paying for it dearly here. So, the old mutt just bit me for the first time. So, something's been going on with this build that I have not addressed yet in any of the other previous videos. When I got to the part where I had my customer dry shaft built and installed it, the next step was I was going to take the measurements and install my front dry shaft, or have the front dry shaft built. I needed a new one. I needed to be longer. The one I had from the Bronco 2 is too short. No big deal. I have a new one made. I took the old one from the Bronco 2 just to kind of mock up in there because it has, the end is spline telescoping. Figured it might, give me something good to go off of. Well, immediately I discovered when I bolted the double cardan joint to the front output of the Pt20 that I was not able to get the dry shaft to line up with the front yoke on the Dana 44 because the tube of the dry shaft actually hit the corner of the transmission pan. Okay, so the dry shaft doesn't fit. Talked to my dry shaft guys. He talked about going from a 2.5-inch tube all the way down to like an 1.5 inch, 1.25 diameter tube, and that might snake by and give me the clearance that I needed. I mean, I got to have a shaft built anyway. Well, that only cured one problem. The other issue is the dry shaft is directly underneath on the side of the trans where the shift selector arm hangs down. And at static ride height, they're only this far away from each other. So when the driver's side of the suspension would go to full stuff, it's going to crash right into my shifter arm on the trans. That's no good. So that sucked. I decided, you know what, I'm not worrying about that right now. I have so much other stuff to do. Fuel system to plumb, brakes to plumb. I want to get the motor up and running. I basically had the thought that I could just get the truck going, even if it was just two-wheel drive. Don't even worry about the front dry shaft deal yet, and I'll deal with that last. Talking with my guys about possible solutions. Kicked around the idea of just putting a full width front 44 in this. It is a high pinion, but I narrowed it 6 inches. Going to a full width axle with that, give me all the clearance and everything that I needed. It would move that front yoke over 3 inches, change the angle of that dry shaft. Well, doing some looking here, that still won't get me out of the woods, man. The dry shaft still, when it goes to full stuff, there's just not enough room there for the cable. And as you saw in the last video, hopefully you watched it, when I routed the shifter cable down there, the bracket from Winters that bolts to the corner of the trans pan that holds the cable that goes to the shift selector arm, that bracket and the cable is literally exactly in the same spot where the double cardan joint on the dry shaft is. They're in the exact same spot. I'm baffled on why I'm having all these problems. This setup came out of a 73 Bronco, I believe. A lot of early Bronco guys are running these AODs and Dana 20s. Apparently with them using low pinion 44s, it changes the dry shaft angle. It's a lot harsher than mine, so it's already much farther away and out of the way of the shift selector. I do have a deep aluminum pan, or not a deep pan, but I have an aftermarket aluminum trans pan. It's probably thicker. Seems like most of the early Bronco guys are using the stock steel pans, and they're even denting the sides in to make a little more clearance. And then seems like all the YouTube videos that I saw of guys doing these swaps in early Broncos, they're using some low-car kit that converts the stock column shifter to work with the AOD factory shift selector arm that doesn't point down like mine. It still points up. So they don't have that to contend with either. So apparently I put together the impossible combination and not even realizing it. So first, let me show you what's going on with the dry shaft and some of the problems that I'm talking about here, and then we'll get into some of the possible solutions that I've come up with. So let's crawl underneath and take a peek. Hi there. Okay, we're under the truck. So I want to show you a couple of the things that I'm running into with this combination here. So I guess pull you off the tripod here and show you. Hopefully I can. Hopefully this translates to video while I'm holding it here. So hold on a second. Let me grab you. Okay, so I'm basically laying underneath the transfer case right now, and if you can imagine a dry shaft hooked to here, and it has to hook to there. You'll notice this part of the transmission pan is in the way. I cannot get the U-joint over far enough to even reach the front yoke of the axle. It hits here before I can get it over. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is the shift selector arm. I guess there's really no better way to get a. I guess look at it from this way. So the shift selector arm, it points down off the transmission, and the problem is, even if I could get the dry shaft in it, sitting right here at normal ride height, it would literally be a ½ inch away from that. So as soon as the front axle starts to compress, it's going to crash right into that shift selector. So we talked about building a new dry shaft and making it out of a smaller tube to hopefully make the clearance that would clear that. But then the other problem here is when I was hooking up the shifter, the Winters shifter has this bracket that's got a bolt right here to these transpan bolts to hold the shifter cable. Again, here, I apologize, but if you notice, it's literally right in the middle of where the double cardan joint is going to be. They're literally sharing the same exact spot. So, yeah, that ain't going to work. Yeah, I guess you can kind of see there. So that shifter bracket literally comes out right here to hold the cable, and it's right in the middle of the dry shaft. So, yeah, I kind of created the impossible combination here by going to this high pinion narrow 44. If it was a low pinion 44, obviously the dry shaft angle would be a lot harsher, and it would probably clear because a lot of the early Bronco guys are doing this swap and not having the problems that I'm having. And it seems like they're also using column shifts that use a totally different linkage, so they don't have this whole bracket and cable set up back here fighting for the same real estate as the double cardan joint. So So yeah, anyway, let me get out of here. That pretty much shows what I wanted you to see anyway. Hopefully that translates to video, I hope. All right, welcome back. All right, so now that you've seen all that, hopefully it all makes sense now what I'm talking about. Things that I absolutely have to do. I got to pull this whole interior back out. Center console, shifter, the rubber floor. I got to get to that bolt down plate on the top of the trans tunnel. I got to get that out of the way so I can get to the bolts for the T-case. T-case has got to come out. AOD's got to come out. I've done a lot of talking with advanced adapters. I've talked to a couple guys over there that have been super helpful, super nice on the phone, answering all my dumb questions. And I've also been talking to Northwest Fab up in Canada. And I think the solution to my problem is going to be I'm going to go back to my C4 automatic. The C4 is a lot narrower trans, so that dry shaft clearance on the driver's side, non-issue. Everything will clear, everything will be fine. No problems with the shifter, no problems with the drive shaft. Sucks that I'm going to lose the overdrive. That was the whole point of me doing the AOD, was I wanted the overdrive feature so this thing would drive down the highway like a modern JKU or something, you know? So, unfortunately, that ain't going to work in this. I did talk to Advanced Adapters about purchasing an Atlas 2 to throw in here, because the Atlas 2, from the center of the transfer case to the center output on that front shaft, they are a little bit longer. It would move it out away a little bit, but it's not enough to clear the dry shaft and all those other issues. Plus, as of right now today, the Atlas 2 starts at $3,200 before any other options. And to mount it to my AOD, my output shaft on the AOD is incorrect. I'd have to buy another $650 conversion kit from them that would require this brand new trans to be completely disassembled and change the output shaft to work with the Atlas. So I'm not crazy about taking a brand new trans that I have thousands of dollars into, tearing it all apart to change the output shaft to run that Atlas. Plus, as of today, they're looking at, looks like about a 5-month wait to get one. It's February right now. 5 months, I'm basically going to lose a whole year again. I'll lose another year. So that's really thrown a wrench in the works. So to me, the obvious answer is take my C4 that worked fine in the Bronco 2. I'm going to take it. I'm going to have it freshened up. I'm going to have it upgraded. I'm going to get a better torque converter for it. We're going to convert it to a full manual reverse valve body. I want to keep this winter's shifter. I love this shifter. I'm going to try that. And then Northwest Fab makes a doubler box. It's called a black box. It'll give me a 2.72 to 1 doubler ratio. So essentially, that will allow me to bolt that between the Dana 20 and the C4. That'll give me my 4 high option, my 4 low, which is 2.46 to 1. And then I can engage the low, which will put it over 5 to 1, which would be a insane crawl ratio. So I'm going to go with that option. So this combination will be the cheapest solution to it, and it'll be the quickest way to get this thing finished and back on the road. The doubler box from Northwest Fab, we got about a 12-week turnaround time on that. So 12 weeks from the time of purchase, I can have the doubler here. I'll have to make a few more modifications to the truck. Obviously, the shift linkage for the twin sticks will have to be lengthened, whatever the doubler adds to it. My rear dry shaft, that will have to be shortened probably 5 inches, I'm figuring. Not a big deal. That's better than having to pay for have it retubed to make it longer. Because if I were to put the C4 in with just the Dana 20 and no doubler, it would be a shorter combination of what I have, so then this dry shaft wouldn't fit. it'll be too short. So I'd rather shorten it than try to pay to have it retubed to make it longer. So I'll have to have the dry shaft shortened. I'll probably have to modify the location of my anti-rat bar, the cross member for that. May end up having to shorten that back down a little bit too. So I just, you know, man, it's a snowball effect. I wish I had done a little better research on using this trans, but it is what it is. This whole combo will just go up for sale. Hopefully somebody can use it in an early Bronco or whatever. I mean, I really spared no expense on it. It's a pretty badass setup. I'm bummed I ain't gonna be able to use it. So, but whatever. C4. So what we'll see here is in the next few videos probably is just a whole lot of me taking a lot of this stuff back apart, getting everything out, get the C4 in, get it upgraded. I get the C4 back in this thing really quick, and once it's in, I mean, I can continue on. There's still the wiring to finish. There's no brake plumbing yet. Finish the fuel system. There's still a lot to be done. It's just going to be a little bit longer now before it actually rolls out of here under its own power. So anyway, that's where we're at with the mess I've created. So yeah, I have no idea where I'm going to start at this point, but sit tight in the next clip. I guess we'll see where I decide to get started. So let's get into it, man. Well, I guess the first thing that makes sense is before I get into ripping everything apart, I guess I should probably take anything that's ready to go on the truck now that's not going to interfere with the trans job. Let's just get it installed. Get it off the floor, off the shelf, on the truck, out of my way. And then, because when I start tearing into this thing, the transmission, I'm going to have a mess in here. I'm going to have just crap everywhere. So I actually spent a good couple days out here just kind of hitting the reset button and cleaning and organizing and made a bunch of room out here. So actually, it is an improvement, believe it or not. So anyway, I think engine compartment. I think I'm going to knock out some stuff in the engine compartment. I think that makes sense. I got parts for that laying everywhere, so let's just get them installed, get it done with. All right, well, that didn't take much time. Wasn't too hard. I decided to throw the Ron Francis wire harness on the motor. Might as well just go ahead and get that. That's been hanging on the wall. Let's just get that installed, get it done. I had all my the airbox set up. I had to figure out how to mount that and get that all set up. So I went ahead and I did it. So motor's wired. Intake's just sitting on there for mock-up purposes right now. But the motor's wired, except for this side here. I literally have just a couple plugs I got to go through and change. A few differences between the Bronco 2 and this truck here and how I'm going to connect everything over here. But I could literally plug it in right now and it would fire. But I'm gonna redo that right there. But everything else is done. Injectors, map sensor. I took the airbox, this is a I think this was out of a 1988 Crown Victoria 5-liter. They were intakes were backwards on those EFI motors, so that airbox is mounted like right over the valve cover. It works perfect in this. I got the Ron Francis. There's a fuse block, relay block. All that's mounted. The wire harness is plugged into the micro squirt. That's done. And I even went ahead and I added another little bonus accessory here, just for them late night breakdowns on the side of the road that are inevitably probably going to happen. Added some LED strip lighting to the engine compartment. Just so, just in case, why not? Might be a little corny, but whatever. Corny is practically my middle name, so it was easy enough to do. So yeah, so that's done. I checked that off the list. That's more parts up off the floor and on the truck, so done with that. I don't know, maybe not quite related to this project, but I decided I wanted to get a little more organized out here, and I put together this cart my buddy Phil gave me. I was very grateful for. Turned it into my my wiring workstation. So I got all of my wiring, tools and supplies, components, everything all decked out on this thing here, this cart that's on 4 casters. I can roll it right up to wherever I'm working. Like I said, right now I just did the wire harness on the truck, so that's where everything's at. Worked out pretty good. I really like that. So I'll be able to just take that to wherever the job is, and I'll have all my supplies with me. So yeah, whatever. That was worth a half day's work, I think. Also, one more update. Last night, I did get a chance to talk to John at JB Fab, who makes the twin stick shifter that I have on the Pt20 now. Basically, I got to change all that. I'm not going to be able to use that. There's no way to mount that shifter to the transmission once I add the advanced adapters tail housing for the doubler. So John is going to make me a cable operated, he calls it a buggy style, triple stick shifter. So there'll be a little box. This will all come out. The hole in the floor here will get filled. And I'm hoping the footprint's not much bigger than what this is right here currently. But there'll be a little box mounted right here. And I'll have 3 sticks. I'll have the transfer case, be able to disengage front and rear. Then there'll be a third lever for the doubler. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to move it over a little bit. But yeah, so this will end up getting cable operated triple sticks. So those will probably be ordered in the next day or two. And I'm already getting in the rest of the parts for the swap too. So I got the new B&M whole shot 2000 RPM stall converter for the C4. I'm going to change that up. And I also for the shift pattern, I got the different plate for the C4 pattern. That's already here too. So moving right along. You know what? Let's just go ahead and end this video here. If you got questions or whatever regarding this whole mess, put them in the comments below. But yeah, I think that was enough to address in this video. I think I'll save the rest of it for the next video on getting this all tore apart and showing all the new parts and everything showing up. So yeah, keep this one short and sweet. I messed up, whatever. It happens, man. You know. So gonna regroup, and when it's done, I think it's gonna be better. Actually, I really love the idea of having the doubler, be able to keep the 456 ring and pinions and the axles, which I like. Nice meaty pinion gear, and then 39-inch tires. You know, it's going to go down the road fine with the C4 with no overdrive. And then the doubler, I mean, going to double it. How can that be bad, you know? So yeah, anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for not laughing at me. Yeah, you can laugh at me. I deserve it probably. And yeah, give it a like, leave a comment if you want. And more content coming fast and furious, so stay tuned. Bye.